Okay, it's my 2 cents on what happened in Charlottesville. I'd like to know what happened with the police. Why did they stand down? Who told them to stand down? This whole riot down there, in my opinion, could have easily been avoided. Now, I wasn't there, of course, but apparently there was plenty of police down there to nip this in the bud. They didn't separate the two sides. They didn't try to stop them when the rioting started. I don't get it. Who told them to stand down? A woman is dead because the police allowed this stuff to go on. Now, cops aren't cowards. None of them. I know cops all over the country. I know cops here locally. I know cops in a lot of states. They're not cowards. Not one police officer I know is a coward. They were told to not interfere. Now, I don't understand why any politician or any head of the police command structure would tell them to stand down. So what we have here, Saturday, the president came on. He denounced the violence. He said there was a lot of fault on both sides. He was right. He was spot on correct. Now, he didn't say the KKK. He didn't mention Nazis. He didn't mention white supremacists. Probably should have, because that was their rally. But they're despicable people. We all agree. The left, the right, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals, everybody agrees. This very small faction in America, white supremacy, is denounced, and they're despicable, and everybody understands that they carry no message that any of us want to hear. However, they have a First Amendment right. Hate speech is protected under the First Amendment. They have to be given the right to speak. Now, they had a permit. They got their permit legally. The ACLU went to court to let them speak, to force the courts to let them speak. And they go to this park and are met there with counter-protesters, which is fine. I got no problem with counter-protesters. Go there, scream, yell, do what you want, but don't break the law. Don't start fighting. Don't start throwing things. First of all, don't show up armed to the teeth. Both sides showed up ready to fight. They were there to fight. That's what they wanted to do. And the police let them. And I don't blame the police. Somebody told them to stand down. Now, I don't get that. But what I do understand is now the left is absolutely going batshit nuts on Trump because he didn't call out the white supremacists and said all sides were at fault. Well, then Monday he comes out, he does call them out. Okay? Then Tuesday at a press conference, he again addresses the fact that there were two sides there. There were two sides fighting, and he's right. There are two sides fighting. If Antifa and BLM doesn't show to this rally armed and ready to fight, and I understand white supremacists, the skinheads, the Nazis, the KKK, they all showed up ready to fight too. Okay? If Antifa and BLM doesn't show up, if the police don't stand down, that woman that died is still alive today. But they did. The police stood down. They showed up to fight. The cops allowed them to fight. it got completely out of control, and some nut job got in his car and ran down a group of people. This is ridiculous. Both sides are at fault here. You can't just blame the person who went, the group that went out and got the permit. Trump tries to express that to the media, and they go completely nuts. Now this morning I get up and I get online and I see an article from NBC glorifying this group Antifa as if they are the saviors of America for fighting against the KKK. Antifa are despicable human beings also. They are fascists. They say they're anti-fascist, but they're not. They're a communist group bent on chaos. They're anarchists. Now, they don't really care. You can talk to one of these guys. They don't know what their ideology is, except violence. They have destroyed cities. We're talking, Berkeley, when conservative speakers want to speak, Portland, Seattle, all kinds of different places. These people are violent, destructive criminals, and they belong in jail. Now, getting back to Charlottesville, I don't understand how permits work for a rally. Okay, when you want to have an assembly, shouldn't there be some kind of parameters attached to that permit? In other words, shouldn't there be a list of things that they can't do, such as you apply for a permit, it should say, if it doesn't, it should say you can have your permit, you can have your rally, but nobody shows up with weapons, nobody shows up with clubs, nobody shows up with helmets, nobody shows up with body armor. Nobody shows up, with urine-filled balloons. Nobody shows up with tear gas to shoot at each other. Nobody shows up with the intent to spit at each other, to throw rocks, throw anything. You want to come to a rally and you want to yell at each other, fine. But the first person that spits, the first person that throws anything, if you come to the rally with body armor on, if you come to the rally with helmets on, come to the rally armed, you're going to jail. It's that simple. You want to show up in normal attire, dressed normally, and voice your opinion, fine. But if you show up like in any other means, you're going to jail because you broke the rules of the permit. Now, that seems like common sense to me, but I don't know. Maybe that isn't the permit and they all just broke the rules. I don't know. But something has to be done to nip this in the bud next time. Now, it's going to happen again. It's obviously going to happen again because obviously there's a big push now to get rid of all these Confederate statues. Now, I don't care about these Confederate statues. Nobody really cares about them, although, there's a certain amount of history involved. Sure, it's a dark part of our history. I don't know what tearing down these statues solves. I don't know how that makes things better. I really don't. But if it makes them feel better. But like Trump said on Tuesday in the press conference, what's next? Are we going to throw the Declaration of Independence away because it was signed by slave owners? We had flaws. We have grown as a nation. We made mistakes in the past. Terrible mistakes. We have grown from it. We've corrected mistakes. We still correct mistakes. We still grow as a nation. We still are trying to be better human beings. But I don't understand what tearing down a 120-year-old statue does to correct anything. It doesn't. Uh, but like I said, I don't care if tear it down, fine. But let's not fight over it. Let's not riot over it. The bottom line is in Charlottesville, both sides came to fight. Both sides are at fault, and there's a woman dead because of it. Now, you can blame the media wants to completely and wholly blame the holders of the permit for this, the white supremacists, the KKK, skinheads, Nazis, whatever, whoever, they want to completely blame them for it. I can't do that. It's not completely their fault. They are at fault, sure. Antifa, BLM is also at fault. They came to fight. They've came to fight. I've watched the videos online. They came to fight. They were willing participants and antagonistic, and they went after each other. The real culprit here is who told the police to stand down, and that needs to be investigated. If they don't find, I mean, this is political. Let's face it, this is political. Somebody wanted this to happen. Somebody wanted this to happen. And until we find out who's pulling the strings on that kind of thing, I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of it. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Go ahead and feel free to begin bashing me. I'll post this on Facebook and various places, but I fully expect to be hammered over it. Oh, by the way, my last video, North Korea, in case anybody's not paid attention, they've backed down. So apparently Trump's rhetoric and the back channel negotiations have worked. But you're not going to hear the mainstream media tell you that. They're not going to ever give anybody like Trump credit for having North Korea back down. Now, it's not over, of course, but I mean, we still got to deal with those nuclear weapons. But they have backed down from attacking Guam and so forth. So, but anyway, that's my 2 cents. Give me a holler. Let me know online, Facebook, wherever, what you think.